Gary Cooper was born Frank James Cooper on May 7, 1901, in Helena, Montana, into a family that valued discipline, education, and independence. His father served as a respected Montana Supreme Court justice, while his mother encouraged culture and refinement, creating a balance between rugged outdoor life and intellectual curiosity. Growing up on a ranch, Cooper developed horsemanship, physical confidence, and a calm self-reliance that later defined his screen presence. Those early years in wide-open landscapes shaped his understated masculinity and reserved demeanor. As a teenager, he spent time studying in England, an experience that broadened his worldview, but ultimately reinforced his attachment to American values. Returning home after World War I, he briefly pursued art studies, unaware that fate was guiding him toward a different canvas. The foundations of Gary Cooper's character, quiet resolve, humility, and integrity, were laid long before Hollywood discovered him. An accidental path to Hollywood. Gary Cooper's journey into the film industry was anything but planned. After a serious car accident ended his college studies, he moved to Los Angeles in the 1920s intending to work as a commercial artist. Instead, the booming silent film industry drew him in almost by chance. His natural athleticism and ease around horses landed him work as a stuntman, an extra, particularly in westerns. Unlike many aspiring actors, Cooper didn't chase attention. His presence simply stood out. His tall frame, piercing eyes, and calm confidence made him memorable even in small roles. Producers noticed his ability to command the screen without exaggeration. When he appeared in The Winning of Barbara Worth in 1926, his brief performance generated genuine buzz. That moment marked the shift from background performer to rising star, setting Cooper on a path that would redefine American cinema. Finding a voice in the sound era. The transition from silent films to talkies ended many careers, but Gary Cooper adapted with remarkable ease. His soft-spoken delivery and naturalistic acting style felt authentic in an era often dominated by theatrical performances. Films like The Virginian introduced audiences to a new kind of leading man, quiet, thoughtful, and emotionally grounded. Cooper didn't rely on grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Instead, he conveyed strength through restraint, allowing audiences to project themselves onto his characters. This approach made him the embodiment of the American everyman. Throughout the 1930s, his popularity soared as he portrayed men guided by conscience rather than ego. Directors trusted him to bring sincerity to complex roles, and audiences responded to his honesty. In a rapidly changing industry, Cooper's calm authenticity became his signature, setting him apart as a star whose appeal transcended trends, defining roles and lasting impact. Over 3 decades, Gary Cooper appeared in more than 80 films, many now considered classics. His performances in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, Sergeant York, and The Pride of the Yankees showcased his versatility and moral clarity. He portrayed heroes who were not flawless, but deeply principled, earning respect rather than demanding it. His role in High Noon remains one of cinema's most powerful statements on courage and responsibility, earning him a 2nd Academy Award. The film's tension came not from spectacle, but from Cooper's quiet determination as a man standing alone. These roles solidified his image as a symbol of integrity during a turbulent era in American history. Cooper didn't just entertain. He reflected cultural ideals of duty, humility, and perseverance. His influence shaped generations of actors who sought to achieve power through subtlety rather than excess. Love, marriage, and personal conflict. In 1933, Gary Cooper married Veronica "Rocky" Balfe, a poised woman from New York high society. Their union blended Hollywood fame with traditional values, and together they welcomed a daughter, Maria, whom Cooper adored deeply. Despite his public image as a devoted family man, Cooper's long absences and personal struggles created tension over the years. Like many in Hollywood's golden age, he faced the challenge of balancing public expectation with private reality. Periods of separation tested their bond, yet family remained central to his identity. Cooper ultimately chose reconciliation over permanent division, guided by faith, responsibility, and love for his daughter. In later years, he grew closer to the Catholic beliefs of his wife, finding comfort and reflection through spirituality. Their relationship, though imperfect, endured hardship and change, revealing a man striving to align his actions with his values. The weight of fame and speculation. As one of Hollywood's most admired stars, Gary Cooper lived under constant public scrutiny. With fame came rumors, speculation, and narratives shaped more by imagination than fact. Like many figures of his era, aspects of his private life were often exaggerated or misunderstood, fueled by a culture that demanded mystery behind stoic masculinity. Cooper himself rarely addressed gossip, choosing silence over confrontation. Friends described him as deeply private, uncomfortable with oversharing or self-promotion. In today's lens, it's clear that many stories surrounding classic Hollywood stars reflect broader social pressures rather than verified truths. Cooper's reserved nature made him an easy subject for speculation, yet his documented life reveals a man focused on work, family, and personal conscience. Understanding his story requires separating myth from substance, recognizing how fame can distort reality while obscuring the humanity beneath the legend. Declining health and quiet courage. In the late 1950s, Gary Cooper's health began to fail as he battled prostate cancer, a struggle he kept largely private. Even as the disease progressed, he continued working when possible, demonstrating the same quiet endurance that defined his career. Films like Friendly Persuasion and The Hanging Tree carried a deeper emotional weight as audiences sensed his vulnerability. Cooper faced illness with dignity, refusing to let it define him publicly. Those closest to him witnessed a man reflecting on life, faith, and legacy. His wife Rocky stood by his side, offering care and strength as his condition worsened. Despite physical decline, Cooper maintained grace and humility, accepting mortality without bitterness. His courage during this period mirrored the characters he portrayed, men who confronted adversity not with bravado, but with calm resolve and inner strength. A final farewell and resting place. Gary Cooper passed away in 1961 at the age of 60, marking the end of an era in Hollywood history. Tributes poured in from across the film industry, honoring a man who had redefined cinematic heroism. Initially laid to rest in California, his remains were later moved to Sacred Heart Cemetery in Southampton, New York, at his wife's request. The relocation reflected a desire for peace, privacy, and spiritual significance away from Hollywood's glare. The quiet cemetery aligned with the values Cooper embraced later in life: faith, family, and reflection. His final resting place became a symbol of the man behind the fame, far removed from red carpets and flashing cameras. It offered a space where loved ones could remember him not as a screen legend, but as a husband, father, and individual who valued simplicity over spectacle. Legacy beyond the silver screen. Gary Cooper's legacy endures not because of scandal or speculation, but because of the authenticity he brought to his work. He represented a form of masculinity rooted in integrity, restraint, and moral clarity. His influence can be seen in countless performances that favor sincerity over showmanship. Beyond awards and box office success, Cooper left behind a standard for professionalism and humility, in an industry often driven by ego. His daughter Maria later celebrated his life and style, emphasizing the values he lived by rather than myths attached to his name. Cooper's story reminds us that public figures are often more complex than their legends suggest. By focusing on his craft, character, and choices, his life becomes a testament to quiet strength. In remembering Gary Cooper, we honor not rumors, but a legacy built on enduring principles and timeless artistry.